Welcome to the Candid Bee. I am B, back with another episode. I know this is not our normal Sunday chit chat, but something came across my mind today, um, just in the midst of a conversation, and I thought it would be something great to share. So, thank you for joining me. If you are new here, welcome. I hope you find your tribe on this channel. If you are a longtime listener or member of the Candid crew, welcome back. I ask that you all would like and share um, the channel as well as subscribe to the channel. Now, I don't want to keep you long because again, this is something that just came to my mind that made me remember an encounter that I had, and it kind of piggybacks on the conversation or part of the conversation that I was having on Sunday about resetting in all aspects of your life, resetting in your romantic relationships. And I know everybody has the relationship talk and it will go on forever. And it can be boring and it's like, okay, we've got it. But I wanted to share an encounter that I had on my fall vacation. And it was almost like I was having a conversation with God, or I had been having this conversation with God. I had been writing things down and just really analyzing what I would want in a partner. And the person I was dealing with just wasn't meeting all the marks to my expectations. And so I'm thinking and I'm like, yeah, but no, but I don't know. You know how it is when it's not bad, but it's not good. It's not great. And you desire something more, or you know that you deserve more, and you can't quite put your finger on it. And so it was almost like God said, I'm going to show you what it looks like. Even in the slightest bit of nothing that won't even matter to you in the moment. But I'm going to show you what it looks like so you can quit tossing back and forth in your head the what ifs or the wondering. So I went on vacation. Again, I went on my fall vacation to Portland, Maine. It was beautiful. It was gorgeous. It was everything that I wanted to experience on a fall coastal vacation. And so I went with my aunt. And so we're just dilly-dallying around, walking, eating. And so we had decided to do this seafood tour. And so on this seafood tour, there was probably about, I'm going to say 15 people, about 12 to 15 people. Now, we were the only blacks, but everybody was just super, super nice. And on the seafood tour, the guide would take us to these set places that we had prearranged meals. And they weren't full meals. One place, because seafood is so big there, of course, and it's so fresh and it's right on the water. They're bringing it in several times a day. So it's literally straight off the boat. So one of the places it was fish tacos, another places it was clam chowder, or it was chowder. You could get it different ways. One place it was, of course, lobster rolls. We had a couple of different lobster rolls. It was craft beers and just all these different types of fish, all these different seafood dishes. It was great. So as we're going on the tour, and the people on the tour, of course, are sitting together. And so sometimes we were seated at one long table. Sometimes we were seated at maybe a couple of tables. and you're sitting with different people. And so then you just naturally start talking and, introducing yourself and talking about where you're from and talking about the food, talking about the experience, yada, yada, yada. And we met these four guys, and they were four white guys. I believe they were Jewish. I'm not sure, but they were four white men, and they were all cousins. And they had decided to go on a cousin's vacation because their wives had gone on a girls' trip. So they were like, we're not staying around. We're going to go do our own thing. And so they said normally they take this family vacation, which is like 30 of their family members. Now, they were from New York and New Jersey. So I think one of them said he lived in Brooklyn, and the other three may have lived in New Jersey. So they were basically New Yorkers or East Coast guys. And so once they came on their cousin vacation, you know, they just, had never been to Portland before, just like we hadn't. So they're just, experiencing it at the same time. But I noticed something about these men. And it wasn't just one or two of them. It was every one of them. Now, again, mind you, there's all different type of people on this tour, but my aunt and I are the only black women. We're the only blacks, period. And I started to notice something about these guys whenever we would be sitting at the table with them. When the waitress would bring out the water pitcher, and bring glasses, one of them would always set our glasses in front of us, like, passing them around or passing them down, and he would always serve us water out of the pitcher, like pour it for us and hand it to us. And at first I was like, now I'm a germaphobe. So at first I'm like, oh, don't be touching my glass. But, I was like, okay, girl, chill out. Put the germaphobe away. Watch him, but, chill out. And because it was just a kind gesture. And so then I noticed that if the waitress would bring food, because we're all getting the same thing. It's just short, small bites. And so when the waitress at whatever place we're going, if they're bringing the food, they're just setting down the plates in front of whomever, because they're trying to get it all out. We're on limited time. I noticed that these guys, if we were sitting with them, they would always serve us first. Like, just if the waitress or waiter happened to put their plate down first and we didn't have our food yet, they would always, give us the food. Like, no, you take this, I'll wait. Again, at the time, you notice it, but you're not thinking. So then, of course, because we're walking, this is like a 3-hour food tour. And so we're taking pictures, doing the touristy thing. And so I was taking a picture for my aunt. And one of them came and said, I'll do that for you. You get in the picture. So he just starts taking our picture. And I'm not talking about a one-shot click, here you go. I'm talking about working angles, getting down low. Like, he was making sure we had some good pictures. And we was like, oh, thank you. And so because we're walking all over this certain area, at one of the points we went to a gelato shop. And so we all got gelato. It was part of the food tour. And so it was, fall. So it was a nice day. We're sitting out on the patio and we're eating. So once my aunt and I finished, because she's older, she's 74. So I got her trash. I was going to go put our stuff in the trash. Before I could take 2 full steps, one of the cousins came and said, are you done with that? I'll take that for you. I mean, came out of nowhere. So then, of course, we're walking, and you know, if you walk, sometimes you're in the front of the line, sometimes you're in the middle, sometimes you kind of fall to the back because you're observing, you're looking at all the sights. I noticed, and because I'm always aware of my surroundings, I noticed that, like, if any woman, not just me or my aunt, because there's another lady that was single, by herself, and she would sit with us too. But I noticed that if any of us women fell to the back of the line, now remember, it's like 12 to 15 people on this tour. I'm gonna say 12. So at any point, if we were at the back of the line, one of the cousins would fall back so that the women weren't at the back of the line. And it was always, they would make sure that one of them was always the tail end of the line if it was women that was falling to the back of the line. And so I just, and again, I see this all, it's, you know, a kind gesture, nothing out of the ordinary, really. But it wasn't until later that, even after I got home, even up until lately, I cannot forget that, because it was almost like God said, we keep having this same conversation, and I'm going to show you what it looks like so you don't have to worry. And it was almost like he said, this is the bare minimum. This is what a man does. This is how a man acts and treats you. This is what a respectable man does, even when he doesn't want anything from you in return. And I tell that story because if it had just been one guy, I would have probably thought of it in passing. But I think because it was four of them and they all played a different role and kept doing something different, it made me realize this is how they were raised as cousins. This is how they were raised. And you could tell the way they would immediately go into service, how they would immediately go into protection, how they would immediately go into making sure the women were provided for first. It was like ding, 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 you know. And I keep thinking about that. It just has blown me away. It made an impression on me, not because no one has ever done anything kind to me before, but it was so blatant and in my face at a time when I've been having this internal quiet conversation with God. And again, it was almost like he said, I'm going to show you what it's supposed to look like. That way you don't have to wonder. And I kept thinking, I know the women in their life have to be spoiled. And I thought, man, what a beautiful thing. And like I said, they had to be raised that way as cousins because they all just naturally were doing something for the women on that tour, mainly us, because the other women, you know, were with other guys. But it just has left such a big impression on me. And so when I thought back over the conversation from Sunday and some other things that have kind of happened this week, and I thought to myself, no, you deserve it all. Don't settle for the man that doesn't open the door for you, if that's not how you wish to be treated. However you wish to be treated, a man should be in your life, or a partner should be in your life that organically treats you that way. It should show up to where you don't have to have any internal tug of war conversations. You don't have to have any kind of doubt. And it was just, and every time I think about it, it almost gives me chills because it's like, how did you know? And of course, I know how God knows, He knows our every thought. And I don't mean this to get preachy, but it just hit me because I'm like, I don't have to wonder because I know you've told me and now you've shown me, even in the most simplistic form, what a gentleman is supposed to look like. And trust me, and I'm not trying to come off conceited. I have no shortage of men in my DM, or men that are trying to talk to me, or exes that want to call and keep in touch and check in every couple of months or every year or so. I have no shortage of men in my life that I could have a relationship or involvement with, or entanglement, or anything I wanted to have. But I want what's right for me. I want what I deserve. And I deserve it all. I deserve it all. And I am fully prepared to sit out what's not for me. I'm prepared to throw the fish back if it ain't a big mouth bass, baby. I want what I want, and I want what I deserve, and more importantly, I want what God showed me I can have, or that I'm supposed to have, or that I deserve to have, because it says a lot about, because of course a man that wants something from you, he's gonna do all the things, baby. He's gonna pull all the stops. He got his mask on. He is in full character. But when you come across men that are truly gentlemen in who they are, because that's who they were raised to be, or that's just who they are in their spirit, that's who they are at their core, it looks different. It feels different, and it's gonna make you think different. And so I just wanted to drop in real quick and say, don't doubt yourself. Don't go back and forth. We already said this is 2026, and where we're not going is back and forth. So don't go back and forth in your mind. Don't keep replaying those scenarios. Don't let these Negroes or these men play with you, because they will. They will if you let them. And if you want to play a little bit, that's on you. But I ask you that if you don't know what it looks like, just ask God to show you. He'll show you. He'll show you exactly what it looks like. And if you like me, now I won't say I came home and immediately hit that block button, but my vacation was in October, at the end of October. By the end of the year, I let that block button do her job. Because once you have seen it and you ask him to show it to you, he will take the taste out of your mouth for what is not for you. And when I tell you everything that I was dealing with in 2025 that was shaky, suspect, I couldn't put my finger on, or I had my finger on it and I knew I didn't need to be touching it because that stove was hot. Trust me, he will take the taste for it out of your mouth. And it wasn't even until maybe last week that I realized, I have no desire to talk to this one, this one, this one, or that one. I have no desire to, because I don't need that. That's not what I desire, and the taste for it has been taken away from me because that's what I asked for. And I'm gonna tell you, if you ask for God to remove things or remove people, He will. He will remove them. So when you say that, be prepared for that. But I just wanted to share that story because I know the cool thing to do right now is to give up on love and give up on dating and decenter men. And trust me, I'm with all of that. If that's what you with, I'm with it with you. But for those of us that still desire companionship, I do think that we have to be honest with ourselves and step away from what's not for us, because it is truly blocking what is for you. And you deserve to have what's for you. Just like I deserve to have what's for me. But honey, when I say that taste is gone, it's gone. And every time, if he even crossed my mind, or if a situation even crossed my mind, I promise you I think about my trip. And I think about how those men automatically went into the roles of what a man does. And not a man that wants something from you. Neither one of them probably couldn't tell you me or my aunt's name right today. But guess what? I can't tell you their name either. Now, we took pictures at the end all together because they was just that cool. But I'm telling you, how a man acts when he does not want anything from you is who he is at his core. And whoever raised those four men was job well done. Job well done. Because you could tell, again, that's how they were raised. They were gentlemen. They were polite. They went into immediate serve, protect, provision mode for the women that were unattached. Honey, and it seems like just an encounter that I probably will never forget. And again, not because I don't have people in my life that treat me well. I'm my only child. I got a daddy that will give me anything that I want. I have a best friend that spoils me silly. I have to tell him to stop buying me stuff. So it's not about that. I got exes that I can call and I ain't seen in 10, 12 years and they will do anything for me. It's not about that. It's about God answering the call for a conversation that I had been having with him in private internally. And it changed something in me. It changed the taste for what I know that I deserve. So that anything that's not at least the bottom bare minimum, I know it's not for me. And for whatever reason, it didn't click before then. But that left such an impression on me that I have a real life point of reference. And I think it had to look different than what I'm used to, be somewhere that I'm not used to being. The whole situation had to be foreign to me for it to get my attention. So again, this is going on. I didn't even intend for this to be that long, but I'm going to stop now. But I just wanted to drop that and put that out there to remind you ladies, you deserve it all. Don't settle for anything less than what you've prayed for. Have a good night.